Group. I want to show you the page you're in the group. I think I'll go. Guys. 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. Okay, I see echo. Okay, here we go. All right, how we doing sound-wise?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. All righty. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about Module 3. What we've covered in the past days has been Module 1. Module 1 was about preparing for recruiting 20 people in 30 days. Module 2 was about setting appointments, filling up your calendar. And he discussed getting ready for the 30 days. Within this 30 days, you're pretty much breaking it down into 3 different 10-day segments. So the first 10 days, you're prospecting and you're inviting. The second set of 10 days, you're actually filling up your calendar with presentation. And then the final 10 days, you're actually closing and sealing the deal. So on the third module, what we're talking about is how you tell your story. This is very important because many people have no clue how to share their story. Many people don't even know their story. So it takes somebody like this to break it down for you to help you do it. And your story wants to be short and sweet. When you do a presentation, you don't want to be in front of the room 15 minutes talking about yourself, right? They're not there for you. They're there to hear about the money. They're here about how it's going to change their life. But they do want to know how the business has helped you. And you want to keep it short and sweet. And you want to be able to touch on everybody that's in that audience, okay? So what we're going to do is start this video. I will interject here and there if he covers something that I feel like we need to highlight. All righty. Oh, and before we go into that, you guys, we had a homework assignment from yesterday's training. Now, there's a poll that you should see up. It looks like 28 people have answered it. So 28 out of 37 people have answered the poll. So please answer that. I want to get an idea of how many people have created their list of 200 names and how many people have categorized. If you didn't finish it, that's okay. I know you guys have busy lives, but work towards completing that before we launch on September 4th. So we look at these numbers here. We have 13 people so far that have completed their list of 200 names, as well as categorized, separated them by high and code. That's great, you guys. So we have over 2,000 messages that will go out on September. So our goal is to get this as close to 50 as we possibly can. So while you're on your lunch breaks, while you're on your breaks, while you when you get off the go ahead and get this list done. Panelists, please. I'm gonna go ahead and all the panelists go on mute. Okay, so we're about to start the video. We have 44 people online now, great number. Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, well, welcome back to Module 3 of how to recruit 20 people in 30 days. We talked in Module 1 about preparation. We talked in Module 2 about filling the funnel, getting that calendar just packed with action and activity, sending out those, getting the contacts put together and sending out text messages to everyone, getting as face-to-face as you possibly can. in that process, and I hope you've accepted the challenge. Now, some of you may have not accepted that challenge yet. You haven't decided you're going to do that yet because you're still wanting to know, what do I do once I get all these people? I don't have enough, I need somebody to do this presentation with me. I need some help. I need some guidance. I need some direction. What do I say? Because maybe I'm brand new or, you don't know what to do. So I will tell you, the biggest, most important part of increasing your effectiveness in presentation, because that's what we're really talking about now, is presentation. The biggest part is telling your story. Telling your story. This is really important, and there are 4 parts to every person's story. You might not know your story right now. Let me help you create your story. Because when you sit down with a person, one of the first things you're going to do over the course of this Recruit 20 in 30 process is you're going to tell your story. So in that, you got, the first is, I'll just make this A and then I'll make this 1. Part 1 is your background. You're a doctor, you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you're a business owner, you're a employee for some company, you're a salesperson, you're a banker, you're a firefighter, whatever it happens to be, okay? Part 2 is what you didn't like about it. What didn't you like about your background? Let's say you're a teacher, for example. I know a lot of teachers, and I'm a teacher at heart. I'm teaching now, right? So here's what I know about teachers. They're underpaid for what they do, the value that they put out in the world. They live in a very political environment. They have to watch their back. It's very political inside of educational institutions. There's a limit to how much they can earn, no matter how good they are or how much better they are than somebody else in the educational system. There's only so much they can earn. They're a little bit of a slave to their passion. In other words, the system knows that they care so much for their students that they'll pay for their school supplies. They'll go above and beyond. They'll put in the extra hours without being paid for it. They'll do all that stuff because they know that they're passionate about it, and they kind of take advantage of that type of a situation. The hours are a little bit crazy, so I know that about teachers. So if a person's a teacher, say, yeah, my background is I'm a teacher, maybe you love it, maybe you don't, but whatever it is. But here's the challenges with being a teacher. Political environment, I'm not really paid what I'm worth. The hours are a little bit crazy, and there's limits to how much I can earn, no matter how good I am. So if you're a teacher, does that sound familiar? If you're not a teacher, you know some teachers, I promise you, that's what's going through their mind. So what you didn't like. And then 3, that you found a solution. Maybe it's in the form of the product, maybe it's in the form of your opportunity, but you found a solution to what you didn't like through the opportunity that you're sitting down and sharing with another person. And number 4 is how you feel about the future. Here's my background. Here's what I didn't like. Here's the solution that I found, and here's how I feel about the future. Now, when I do live events, we just had a city tour here in the United States. When I do live events, I do an exercise, and I'm going to actually pull some footage from a live event and have you watch this, because it's very difficult for you to truly understand the impact of your story without the exercise. And I role play this in an audience. And what I do is I have them tell their story with a stranger in the room, and then I get their feedback. And then I have them do it again with a little bit of a different twist, and then I have them do it a third time with a little bit of a different twist. So what I would like to do now is I'd like to have you watch a live event that we did where we go through this exercise and really try and internalize the impact of what's happening in the telling of the story, because it's such a critical aspect to what you're going to need to do in order to be able to really build a relationship, build trust, and transfer belief with your prospects, okay? So check that out, and I'll come back when it's done. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up and find someone who speaks your language that you do not know. It's very important that you don't cheat with this. Don't go to your friend next to you. Let's pretend we don't know each other. Don't do that. Okay? So find somebody you do not know, and I want you to tell your story to each other. Following these 4 steps that you wrote down, use it as a little cheat sheet. We'll put it up on the screen so you can see the 4 during this. I want you to go through the 4 steps, tell them your background, what you didn't like, the solution that you found, and how you feel about the future, and then reverse it so the other person does it back to you, okay? Now you have 4 minutes to do this, 4 minutes to find a person, tell the story back and forth. Are you ready? Set, go.
Cause you're always trying to get ahead of life. Baby, when you go, you know I'll be waiting on the other side. And I know it's cold, but if you stay, then I could keep you warm at night.
And all right, give yourselves a big round of applause, everybody. Go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and sit down. Okay, what did you learn? Give me some observations. Those of you who did this exercise, what did you learn? Anyone? Anyone who can tell me in English? Yes, what did you learn?
I learned from Mateo that he is very happy now that he has this possibility to be.
Now, give me more observations of the exercise. What was it like to share your story? What did you learn by sharing your story and having somebody share theirs? Not exactly their details, just the process.
It's nice to see that it's nice to see that we all feel free.
It's nice to see that we're all kind of the same, right? Did you notice that you have similarities with the other person? How many people notice that you have something similar with the other person? How many people were surprised that you actually could make a connection with another human being that fast? Within a few minutes. Especially guys. Women do this naturally. They'll go into the bathroom and they'll come out best friends. Guys, we struggle with this. What else did you learn? What was this hard or easy?
Easy.
Easy, it's not hard. Will you get better with practice? Yes, you'll get better with practice. Yes.
You can live your dream.
You can live your dream. How many people felt it was interesting? It felt good for someone to listen to your story? Was it good? How many people felt honored that someone was willing to share their story with you?
Same.
How many people felt as they were sharing the story that you wanted to hear more? Anyone? Interesting, right? Any other observations? Any other observations? How many people found yourself wanting to help the other person? Anybody feel like you wanted to help the other person when they were telling their story? Interesting. Now, will you please put up the 4 questions again, or the 4 parts again, up on the screen? Production guys? Can you throw up what's up on the Elmo? There you go. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Which one of these is the most important? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Background, what you didn't like, the solution, or how you feel about the future? Now, how many people feel, and there is an answer, it's not all of the above. How many
Hey, you guys. Okay, really quick. What I want you guys to do, this is going to be part of the homework assignment, but I want this to be as interactive as we possibly can. Before he gives the answer, I want you to answer. What do you feel like is the most important piece of the story that you're telling? Is it your background? Is it what you didn't like about what you did? Is it the solution or is it the future? And just type it in the comments. Okay? The future, the solution. The solution. Everybody saying it's a solution. Solution. What I don't like about my situation. Now, when you're telling your story, reason why he asked the question is a lot of this similar. Does it sound similar? You can have 1 million people in the room, but if you tell your story in the format that he's sharing with you, you're going to relate to them. Everybody has a situation where they have a background. It's something they don't like about it. They need a solution to fix it, and they want to know how your solution is going to help them in the future. Is this long term? They don't want to hear all that extra stuff. You guys be surprised, people be in front of the room forever. They don't want to hear all of that. They just want to know, what was your background? Are you this person that can't be duplicated? They want to know that you're just that average person, that average person that figured out a way to earn above average income. That's what they want to know. You're that average person. What didn't you like about being average at that time? What solution did you find so that you can have more time with your family, make more money? And how is this solution going to help you long term? If you hit those 4 bullet points, you're going to pull several people in, and they will follow you just for you. Think about some of the stories that you've heard in front of the room. And Miss Diane, I'm going to put you on the spot. Everybody else's camera's off. But if you could just come off mute really quick. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you guys, where did she go? Okay. I'm going to get you to Melissa. Miss Diane.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you to hit those 4 bullet points and tell Mr. Thurston's story. What would you say? His background, what he didn't like about it, the solution, and then long term.
He was a Comcast. He was employed by a Comcast. His background, he did not like having to do that. He did not like the income. He did not like going under houses and all those things. And so he decided to become a part of this organization, and he worked very, very hard to come from where he was to get where he is today. And now he's just doing what it takes to be debt free and live financially free and have his freedom.
Yep, and that's really sweet. Do you know how many people that, not just Comcast people, but just people in the room that work with their hands, people that are tired, got bad knees. Everybody's hearing their story. Like, okay, so the cable guy is in front of the room in his suit. So it's relatable, and you wouldn't be able to break it down like that in those 4 parts if he did a poor job at telling his story. You understand? So you should be able to, when somebody tell their story, you should be able to answer those 4 questions when they're done. Alyssa, do me.
Do you?
Do me.
Okay.
My background, what I didn't like about it,
Okay.
the solution,
Okay.
and the future.
And the future. Okay, well, I will say that your background was Wells Fargo. You have been working corporate all your life. You was a trainer by heart, so you love to train people. That was by nature. I would say what you didn't like about it was your time. You never saw your kids. You knew that they would come home from school. You only have a few minutes with them, so your time was the issue. Also, at the time, you had a tax issue. You had just got something in the mail from IRS about all these $1,000 that you and Tony had owed together because of your income. So the solution was, how can I fix this right now problem? You had a right now problem that you wanted to fix, and the future was saving for your kids' legacy.
You have more time with them. All right, you did all right, girl. But the point is, so for you guys that are watching this, practice telling your story. Keep it short and sweet. So whatever your background is, share it. You know, this is my background. This is what I didn't like about it. This is the solution that I found, and this is how it's going to help me long term. Just break it down into those 4 categories and you'll be just fine. India said, what if I love my background? There's something you don't like about your background, trust me.
I love mine.
Come up with something. Girl, I got answer something you don't like about your background. Some of them jobs, honey, it's something you don't like. So just, for you, India, it's as simple as saying that it took you so many years to find your true love, something you were passionate about, which is helping people. So your background could have been being a professional student. I've been a professional student all my life. And what I didn't like about it is that my heart wasn't there.
What about, hey, it's Robin.
About it. I got involved into an industry, allowed me to be around a lot of people. I started building relationships. I realized my heart is with the people. And this helped me really find my focus. I'm in nursing school full time. And this is the money. This is going to be the vehicle to help me to do whatever that you want to do in life. So you can break it down. You can put it on school instead of having it job related. I would say that. Let's see. So I hope you guys get the point. This is a short video. We'll probably be on here no more than an hour or so, but I just wanted to throw that out there and practice a little bit. But practice at home with your families as well. Practice in front of the mirror. Practice recording yourself and get in the habit of telling your story so that you're not standing in front of the room like, who am I? It happens all the time, okay? So practice that, those 4 bullet points. All right, let's get back to it.
People feel like it's number 1? Show of hands. Almost no one. How many people feel like it's number 2? Show of hands. How many people feel like it's number 3, the solution? Show of hands. How many people it's number 4? How you feel about the future? Show of hands. Most people feel like it's number 4. Guess what it is? Number 2. Number 2 is by far the most important. Let me explain why. Nobody cares how cool you are. Nobody cares about your future. Nobody cares about all your accomplishments, and nobody cares about your dreams, all that stuff. Guess what they care about? Guess when they build a relationship with you? When you share your pain. When you share your vulnerability. When you share your heartache. When you share your challenges. That's when you become a human being. That's when they trust you. We've been taught through our lives to never share our weakness. To share weakness is death. That's what we've been taught. But in our business, we're in a relationship business. In order to build rapport and build relationship, people need to understand that you're willing to be vulnerable with them. And here's what I will tell you. If you're willing to be vulnerable with another person and share your real pain, they're going to be willing to drop all of the pretense and share theirs with you. And now you have the basis of a real relationship, a real conversation. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to do this exercise again. Okay? And I want you to find a new person that you do not know. It's very critical that you use a person that you do not know and you don't cheat with this. Don't cheat yourself with this process. Play like a pro. I want you to do the 4 things again, but this time I want you to put more emphasis on number 2. I want you to be raw and honest and authentic and real about the things that you've struggled with, that your challenges in your background. Be honest with it. Doesn't need to be longer. It just needs to be more authentic. Okay, you prepared to do that? All right, you have 4 minutes. Ready, set, go. Seconds. Excellent. Okay, give yourselves a big round of applause, everybody. Find your seats, please. You've now done this twice. Who has some observations? Anybody have any observations about this second time? Willing to share? Yes. It's more comfortable second time. How many people felt more comfortable the second time? Yes? What other observations? Yes? Anyone? What did you learn? Yes? You need to listen more. Listening is powerful, isn't it? Maybe even asking some more questions about it is helpful. Yeah. Sometimes when it's all about you, you need to make it a little bit about them. People love to tell their story if you give them an opportunity. What else did you learn? Anyone? Yes? You feel more connection. How many people felt more connection this time than the first time? Because you shared your pain. You shared a little bit more of your real self. So you can build a relationship with a person fast through that kind of conversation versus, oh, I'm so cool, I'm so amazing. What else did you learn? Any other observations? Anyone? Yes. It's easier the second time. You know, the average doctor will spend 18,000 hours of practice in order to get good at what they're doing. You just practice twice. Okay? If you learn to tell your story over and over and over, you're going to do better. You'll refine it.
I felt more confidence to talk.
You felt more confident the second time. Yes. Build your confidence and build your posture all of a sudden.
Also to talk my story.
To tell your story, yes. Exactly. So if you're willing to do this over and over, you feel more comfortable, feel more rapport. Did it feel like a sales pitch? Did it feel salesy? No. When somebody was telling their story to you, did you feel uncomfortable? No, not really. It was simple. It was real. Even though you were talking about your solution, how you feel about the future, that's fine. When you talked about your background and what you didn't like about it, that was the thing that really opened the door for you to be able to listen to them. Now, throw up the 4 parts again. I'm going to ask you to do this one more time. This time, don't leave your seat. I just want you to do it with the person sitting next to you. Okay? But this time, all you get to do, hold on, all you get to do is 3 and 4. You don't get to talk about your background and you don't get to talk about what you didn't like. All you get to talk about is your solution and how you feel about the future, okay? That's all you get to do. No matter how much anybody asks, you have to only do 3 and 4. Okay? You ready? Stay in your seats and go ahead and do it. Set, go. All right, stop. All right, how did that feel? Not good. Give me some observations. It missed something. What else? It's still okay, but it's not as good. How many people felt like it was pushy? Like it was salesy? Right? Awkward. How many people felt like you didn't kind of know how to start? Felt a little strange? Yes?
We are women, it's not our problem.
Yes, I understand. What other observations with this? Any other observations? Yes.
Became very skeptical.
It became very skeptical. You're like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? Now, I want you to understand something. What I just had you do is what most of you have been doing your whole career. And that's how you've been making people feel. By talking about the solution that you found and how you feel about the future. Now understand, 3 and 4 were the same 3 and 4. And if you just do 3 and 4, you have people skeptical, people resistant, people pushing away, people not wanting to listen, people saying, not for me, not asking questions like, no, I'm out. But if you do your background and how, and what you didn't like about your background, now they're moving forward. Yes, tell me more. Yes, I'm interested. Yes, I want to help. You feel the difference? It's all the difference in the world. If you'll do all 4, your results are going to triple immediately. Immediately. People are going to go from pushing away from you to walking towards you, wanting to be connected with you, if you'll do this. How many people learned something about your story, your own story, that you didn't know prior to this, or hadn't been communicating? Anyone? Yes, just learning to tell your story. Some of you haven't told it to anyone. Your family doesn't know your story, really. You never even really thought about your story, really. So it's so important. This is critical. The strongest people in network marketing are the people who tell the story the best. Take a look at your career level 8 people, and they're just incredible storytellers. That's what they are. They learn to tell stories. They tell their own story. They tell other people's stories. That's what they do all day, every day, all day, every day. Story. That's what tells you, gives the facts better than anything else can do. Okay? All right, I'm going to ask you to do it. Remember, a doctor does 18,000 hours of practice. If you're exhausted after 3 times, we might have to question you a little bit. I want you to find one more stranger that you do not know, and I want you to pour your heart out. I want you to give them all 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't cheat with a friend and do it the 4th time. Do it for real, okay? One last time before before I finish this session. Stand up, find a partner, ready, go. Okay, shh. Now, why do I ask you to do this 4 different times? Here's why. The reason why I ask you to do this 4 different times is this is what we do. This is the business we've chosen. We're in the business of telling stories. In the business of communicating and building rapport and relationship with other people. We need to learn to do this. We need to learn to open ourselves up. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, this is part of what we do. Every day we get out there and we talk to people. When we say, well, what do I say to them? I don't know what to say. Just tell them your story. When you go buy a new pair of shoes, they say, well, hold on a second. Let me just tell you my story while you're finding my size. When you're looking at a new car, let me tell you my story. When you're eating at a restaurant, let me tell you my story. When you meet somebody and you're out having a drink, let me tell you my story. When you tell your story, what's that going to make them want to do? Tell you their story back. And now you have a beginning of a conversation. You have something to be able, as a foundation, to see if there's a fit between what you have to offer and what they might need. Our stories. All right, so I hope you got value from seeing that. Isn't that better than what we can try and accomplish here seeing the impact and the lessons that the people learned in the room, I hope had an impact on you. Because if you're focused just on 3 and 4, which most people do, they get together, they say, let me tell you about the solution, let me tell you about how I feel about the future. It feels a little empty, it feels pushy, it feels salesy. But if you'll do your background on what you didn't like, and if you'll put emphasis on what you didn't like, in other words, you're willing to share your pain, you're willing to be vulnerable, when you'll do that, you can say the same 3 and 4, and now people will want to help you. Now people will want to lean forward and listen. Now people want to engage. Now people want to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing, if you'll do 1 and 2, okay? So it's really important. Most people in network marketing, all they do is 3 and 4, all day, every day. And they wonder why they don't get results. If you'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4 with a particular emphasis on number 2, you can do it fast. You can tell your story fast. Now, some of you, what I want you to do is in the workbook, there's a little story creation tool. I want you to fill in your story. And then I want you to practice telling your story, because maybe your family member doesn't know your story. You know, maybe your friends don't know your story, really, because all you've been doing is 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 3 and 4. You need to tell your story to your family. You need to tell your story to your friends. You need to tell your story to your spouse. You need to tell your story to your kids. You need to tell your story to anybody and look for opportunities to tell your story. And believe me, during the 20 and 30, you're going to be telling your story a lot. A lot. Okay? That's, and I hope you got a feel for the importance of this. Every single one of you watching this can create a story that's compelling. Every one of you has a story that's interesting. And there's more, you have more in common with the prospects that you're talking to than you even realize, if you're willing to follow this format, okay? So that's the story. Part A of a presentation is tell the story. Part B, man, oh man, this thing is so tight. Part B is do the thing. Tell the story, do the thing. That's a presentation, that's all it is. And here's what I mean by do the thing. Every company, and why I can't be super specific with you on it, because every company's different. Some company might be sample the product. Tell the story, sample the product. Some companies might be show the video. Tell the story, play the video. Some companies might be tell the story, show the presentation book. Might be show the tell the story, go online to the website. Okay, so whatever that happens to be. Tell the story, do the thing. Whatever the thing is inside of your company that your leadership recommends because that's the thing that gets the best results, tell the story, do the thing. If you tell the story, they'll be open to the thing. If you don't, if you just focus on solution and how you feel about the future, they'll be resistant to the thing. They'll resent the thing. Okay, and I hope you got that through the example. Tell the story, do the thing. Tell the story, do the thing. How long should that take you? You should be able to tell the story and do the thing in less than 20 minutes. Tell the story is a couple minutes. Do the thing is what? 10 minutes, 12 minutes? How long is the video? How long is the presentation? How long is the, to go through the presentation book? How long is the website presentation, the webinar, whatever it is that you're showing them? How long does it take for them to get a product experience? Whatever it happens to be. Not that long. Tell the story, do the thing, and then make an invitation. We're going to talk about that in the next module. What is the invitation that will help them move forward at the end of the exposure? Okay? Tell the story, do the thing. Tell the story, do the thing. If you tell the story, you're going to get way less questions and objections. If you tell it this way. If you tell just solution and how you feel about the future, you're going to get lots of questions and lots of objections. Lots of resistance, lots of resentment. If you put this in there, you'll eliminate that. Most of the questions go away. People will actually want to help you. Tell the story, do the thing. You're going to do that 100 times over the course of a month. Can you do that? Is that possible to do? Tell the story, do the thing? Yes. And once you start telling the story, you're going to get addicted to it. You're going to look for people and say, oh, wait, let me tell you my story. You meet people in the elevator. Hold on 1 second. We have 2 minutes. Let me tell you my story. You're going to buy shoes and you're going to say, well, hold on. you're a really sharp salesperson. Can I tell you my story real quick? Tell the story at every presentation, every time you get on a call, every time you get on a three-way call, every time that you're following up with somebody. Let me remind you about my story. If you do a home meeting, if you do a lunch meeting, if you do a one-on-one, two-on-one, tell the story, tell the story, tell the story. Tell the story, do the thing. Tell the story, do the thing. Got it. Understand? You're going to do this 100 times. Tell the story, do the thing. What is our goal? Education and understanding. Okay? So that is, first part is preparation. Second part is filling the funnel, getting those contacts put together and inviting those people to fill the calendar. And third part is telling the story, getting the presentation taken care of. All right? Now, in the next module, we're going to talk about closing. What do you do after you tell the story and do the thing to help them make a positive decision about the product or the opportunity? Okay? That's it for this module. See you on the other side, and we'll talk to you about closing.
All right, somebody is typing and they're not on mute. I'm not sure who it is, but if you could please mute your phone.
That's Jasmine.
Okay. All righty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. As small as it may seem, telling your story is the main part of your business. And for those that are recruiting already, ask yourself, think about the people that are on your team right now. What was it that made them partner with you? And I could say at least 80% of the people that have partnered with me did it because of my story. They believed in my story. They saw that I was a mom with kids working a lot of hours, and they saw me go from that to working at home full time. So it's your story that sells. They could care less about Traverse Global. They could care less about Paycation. They are buying you. They are partnering with you. So you have to do a good job of telling your story and just break it down into those 4 components. And I bet you guys are totally surprised when he said number 2. Number 2 is your pain. That's what they want to relate to. They don't want to hear all the glory they want to hear the good, bad, and ugly. And the ugly part is the part that really, really hits home because they seen you come out of the storm. That's what they want to see. They want to see you come from being in the storm to coming out of it. That's when they partner with you. And that's why you have so many friends and family that don't partner with you at the beginning, because they want to see you go through it. And then when you start winning, there they go. So you have to master telling your story. Okay? Do we have any questions on the line? If we do, I'm going to let the panelists answer it, you guys, because I'm in the middle of a blitz and I don't mean to be rude, but if I don't answer them in 2 minutes, I'm going to lose them. So answer your questions, panelists, handle that for me, and I'm about to take people real quick. I'm sorry.
So we have Sabana. Sabana says, how much of the failure to you do you disclose? I think Sanitra brought up a great point. She's typing under Tasha. She says, when telling the story, make it short, not your life history, not drag out the presentation. The number one thing is to get it done so you have time after the presentation to talk with the guests. So in my opinion, and panelists, you guys chime in as well. I think that you tell the bulk, you surmise it and as short as possible. You don't have to continue, you don't have to do a laundry list of failures or issues, but you find the greatest thing that's going to impact someone, the greatest reason why you chose the biggest change, I would say, for you. Tasha, I see you're unmuted. Robin, Diane, what do you guys think? Alyssa and Quinn, I see you guys too. I'm sorry. What do you guys think about that? Jay?
Miss Robin, I agree. I just think that whatever was the most impactful thing for you at that time when you saw the business, the pain that you were going through, that's what you want to relate, because that's real. That's the raw emotion. It's going to come across sincere. And then, as Sinitra said, you want to relay that, but you do want to keep it short, because that's not the time to tell your life story, like Eric said and like Tawana said. But that the thing that was the truth, the thing that was the most raw, that really sparked you to, make a change, it's going to come across so real. It's going to be heartfelt. And I know a lot of you can relate. I've had people come up to me after the meeting. On those times when I did it, I was most raw, because we all don't do it all the time. We tell it, but we skip, like she said, not even realizing it. But I can think back now at some home meetings, and maybe that's what it is too. You're in a more intimate setting. But I've had people come up to me afterwards and tell me that, oh my gosh, like that impacted me so much. Like I could totally relate to your story. And I was like, what, really? But I didn't know, but I did. I was just honest and raw. So yeah, the thing that affected you the most, but keep it short.
Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Alyssa? Ms. Diane? Jay?
I agree. Keeping it short and to the point is very important, because at the same token, they don't want to hear all about your life and every little failure you have been through. However, keeping it real is 100% important too, because if you tell them something that is false about the business and about your challenges, it's always to surface to the top. So the truth is bound to come out eventually. So keeping it short, but keeping it real all at the same time.
Robert Rivera, you bring out a good comment as well. Know your audience and connect with them. With your story, I mean, we all have similar life stories that we can connect with, like with single moms, I'm sure that they'll come with something that you went through, daycare, missing out on your kids' time and games. Things of that nature. So you're absolutely right, Roberto. Know your audience and connect with them. Mama D, you got anything to add?
Well, basically just being real. You have to be real, but you also have to make sure that you don't get into a place where you start bragging. That's so important, and it's so easy to cross that line. So you just have to just make sure that you watch that area, because that's when you begin to be elongated, when you start talking about what you have now and all those type things. So I think if you just stay in that lane, it should be well.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. Humility is important. Remaining humble. Jasmine, Jay, you got anything for us tonight, darling? Oh, okay. She can't talk tonight, y'all. Let's see here.
Hey, I'm back here for a hot second. I apologize for that. But if you don't respond right then and there, you can lose them. Okay. I think Jay was trying to talk, because I see her talking. You just can't hear anything.
Right.
But it's okay. Don't strain yourself, Jay. You're gonna get strep throat or something. Don't do that. Okay, so you guys, this has been an awesome night. Participation has been great. 54 on the line. We have 2 more days left. Tomorrow is all about closing, and then Friday is a recap of everything. And then September 4th, we are going live. So September 4th, everyone that's been participating, that has done the homework assignments, we are going to start our first 10-day phase, and that starts September 4th. And during those 10 days, what are we doing? We are doing a text blast. We are prospecting. We're inviting. During 10 days. That's all we're doing is filling up our calendar. And the second set of 10 days, no more prospecting, straight invitations. If you do what you're supposed to do during those first 10 days, you won't have time to breathe the second 10 days. Your calendar should be loaded. And then the last 10 days is closing. So this is going to be powerful. I hope we get at least 20 committed people to send these 200 messages out, you guys. At least 20. That's 4,000 messages that'll go out on September 4th. And I promise you, if you do it, you guys, you're going to see a major difference in your business. Sending 200 messages in one day, you're going to want to pull your hair out, but you're going to be so happy at the end of the month. Okay? Like me right now, you guys, I do this all the time. I blitz all the time. So you guys are going to do it in one day. Of course, I don't do 200 in a day like that, but I'm constantly blitzing. And what I'm doing now, you're going to experience it on a regular, every day. So hope you guys are excited. Numbers show that less than, 10 to 20% will actually start and finish. I'm hoping we can prove them wrong. I'm hoping we can get at least 50% out of this group to send their messages. If I go and look at this poll, according to this poll, 16 out of 53 of the people on the line have actually completed their 200 names, and 12 out of the 16 have categorized them. That's great. We're almost there, you guys. That's 16. So if these numbers are true, and we have some people that started, didn't finish. Some people said no. Thank you so much for your honesty. Let's get it done. Tomorrow we're covering closing. Tomorrow's all about closing. So you have between tomorrow and Friday to get it all done throughout the weekend, and then on Monday, which is the 4th, right? On Monday, you should be, your leader, your sponsor, your upline should be stressed out from doing 3-way calls from you and everything else. So leaders, I'm telling you now, you want to know whether your team is doing this blitz? If they're not calling you, they ain't doing it. There's no way possible to send out 200 messages and not ask for help. So if you're not receiving calls from these individuals, then you know they aren't doing it. Okay? All right. So this has been great, you guys. I'm going to end the polling because I'm assuming everybody would have already responded. 50 out of 53 of the people voted. Thank you, guys. That's 94% of you guys. So I'm going to do a poll again tomorrow, and I'm just going to add all the homework assignments to see where we are. And I pray that by the time we end this, we have 50%, at least 50% of you have completed all the assignments. Then on Monday, we can just go live. I'm going to end the poll. Somebody is on the Q&A. Oh, they just said things. Hey, Hardy. Okay, all right. Well, that's it. Does anybody have any questions? No? All righty. So you guys have a blessed evening. Talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll send a recording out as always. I'll post it in the group, and I'll send a message out, an email out to everybody. And if you're already registered for tomorrow and Friday, great job. If not, go ahead and get registered. All righty. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. And that's the result of the screen if y'all wanted to see it. Not bad.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you.